Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Harry's Music Room. Um, Basically, this video is going to be not so much a review of the box set of the Rolling Stones in mono, which I just picked up this week, courtesy of the In Groove, but it's more a review of the Rolling Stones themselves and their music. But before I do that, I would like to say a great big thank you to everybody that has subbed my channel and put me over 1,000. I'm really stunned that anybody's interested in what I have to say. But thank you very much. So let's get on with this Rolling Stones review. The box set is much nicer than I thought it was going to be. The lid flips up. So, as I was saying, I was interrupted for a moment, had to pause. It has this lift-up lid, which makes it really nice. It folds back, and this is magnetic, so it just snaps closed, which is really, really nice idea. I like it. The sleeves for the albums, they really seem like they cut some corners there to try to keep the price down, I guess. I don't know. But they're kind of thinner cardboard. The photography on the covers is digitally recreated. It looks kind of pixelated almost. It's not sharp and clear like it should be, on the originals. So I was a little disappointed in the covers. I thought they should have used the UK flip back style covers for them, but they didn't. And on Her Majesty's Satanic request, they should have done the lenticular cover. They really, I mean, if you're going to do it, if you're going to do something like this, do it right. Especially if you're going to charge, between $400 and $500 for it. Do it right. I don't know. They had the opportunity to really do something nice here, something real special, and I think they dropped the ball. But, and this is going to probably piss a few people off, but in my opinion, growing up in the 60s with the Beatles and the Stones in real time, to me, the Stones were always like 2 steps behind the Beatles. Whatever the Beatles did, the Stones wanted to try to copy it. And as usual, they don't hit the mark. And this is a good example of that. And I'll probably be referencing some more examples throughout this, my review of the Rolling Stones. In the beginning, I always bought Beatle albums because there was never a bad track. You got your money's worth. It was just, every song was great. The harmonies, the songwriting, everything was top notch. When it came to the Stones in the 60s, I bought their singles. To me, they weren't an album band. It was like, you had some good hit singles, and then you had some filler stuff. And that's how I perceived them at the time. I thought that the Rolling Stones harmonies were horrible. And I thought that in the early albums, Mick's vocals were really weak. He was not a good lead vocalist. That's changed over time. He has become a great frontman. But in the beginning, his voice was not really good, a real standout. And again, that's where the Beatles had the advantage. They had 2 great songwriters, 3 vocalists. So, that's where we're at with the Beatles and the Stones. The liner notes on these albums, Andrew Loog Oldham, the guy is either he was high on something or he was trying to copy again. Stones album covers, they're trying to copy John Lennon's in his own right, because some of the liner notes are just pure gibberish. Anyways, again, my opinion. As far as the sound on these albums, I found that sporadically, different albums, different songs, the bass was really pronounced. I mean, really, like, whoa, you'd look over and go, what was that, you know? But that makes sense because a lot of their songs were recorded in various different studios. It's my understanding that the Stones licensed their music to Decca, so they were free to record at any studio they wanted, whereas the Beatles were um, pretty much stuck at EMI. They weren't allowed to record anywhere else. So if you're recording in multiple different studios with different recording engineers, maybe the sound is going to change from song to song, which may explain why there's so much bass in some of these songs. One of the good example, if you've got this, is Get Off of My Cloud. Wow, the bass is really kicking in there. There on the 12x5 album of my box set, side 2 has some surface noise. Very noticeable surface noise initially, and then it kind of goes away. So I don't know if that's on all of them or not, but on my set, that's the case. They're all on different color vinyl, and I think the vinyl sounds fantastic. There is no longer an issue with color vinyl, in my opinion. It's just, you know, black is a color. They add black to the vinyl process, so it's really not that different than adding red or blue or whatever. So the colored vinyl I thought was a really nice thing, and I'd prefer to have that over the black vinyl box set anyways. I thought that, like I said, the first 6 or 7 albums were not cohesive albums, but when they got to Aftermath, they started putting together solid albums where all the songs were good, the vocals were good. You know, Mick was coming together as a lead singer, I thought. And then you've got on that one album, you've got Mother's Little Helper, Lady Jane. It's got an 11-minute version of Going Home, which I had never heard before, because you got to remember, I didn't buy these albums. So a lot of the songs on these early albums, this is the first time for me hearing them. But an 11-minute version in the 60s on an album of a song, especially for the British band, was unheard of. I mean, that was groundbreaking there. Flowers, in my opinion, is where they really start to come together, really as a tight band. And then you've got the next one. I've got my note here was there's 2 different Between the Buttons. And then there's another one that there's 2 pressings, because one is UK, one is US, because they had different set lists. So like on Between the Buttons, on the US version, we get Let's Spend the Night Together and Ruby Tuesday. So next comes Beggar's Banquet, last album with Brian Jones. And this is probably their first great album. I mean, it's just a solid record from start to finish. The Rock and Roll Circus video that they did originally was supposed to be like a promotional thing for Beggar's Banquet. But then, as we know, they got shelved and didn't get released until many years later. And then here's an interesting note I saw. The original cover for Beggar's Banquet, which shows the bathroom wall with the top of the toilet, which got banned. The original cover of that was a photograph of a bathroom. Where was it? It was an Porsche dealer in Los Angeles, and that was the actual bathroom in that dealership. And they actually went in there and they made some graffiti on the wall, and Mick Jagger and Keith Richards actually wrote the "what?" No paper on there. So if you look at the picture for the original album, you can see that's a real bathroom, and that's their real graffiti on it. Now, as I already said, when we get to Her Majesty's request, To me, that was a bit of a failure without the lenticular cover. And I thought the album itself was a failure. Again, they're trying to copy Sergeant Pepper. They're trying to get trippy and they want to be psychedelic. But um, to me, the best songs on there are "She's a Rainbow" and "2,000 Light Years from Home." And the rest of it, I could do without. Um, "Let It Bleed" probably could be between "Let It Bleed" and "Sticky Fingers." It's a toss-up of which one's my favorite Stones album. But the nice thing that they did for the "Let It Bleed" album in here is it has the hole on the back of the cover where you can see the inner sleeve, and blue sleeve would be stereo and a red sleeve would be mono, so you can see through the hole that there's a mono pressing. So they kind of replicated the UK cover for that one. But the highlight of this box set is the Stray Cats double album with singles that were never on albums, just rarities, pretty cool things. I mean, well, there's one song, what was it? Poison Ivy had never been available before except on a promo album. And I love their version of Poison Ivy on this. I Want to Be Your Man is on here, which was written for them by Lennon and McCartney. They do Fortune Teller, Dandelion, which Dandelion is one of my favorite songs, and We Love You, which has John and Paul on backing vocals. So all in all, I would say this is a very respectable box set. Highly recommended. Sounds great. Especially if you don't have, like in my case, where I didn't have a lot of these early albums. This was a perfect for someone like myself. So that's my review of the box set. That's my review of the Stones in general. I would love to hear your comments below and see what you think. Again, I want to thank everybody that subbed me up. To have 1,000 subs is just shocking, but I appreciate it, and I'll keep doing more videos. So until next time, ciao.